everybody. It's time for this week's market snapshot. What's happened in the Northern Virginia real estate market in the last 7 days in under 5 minutes. Here we go. Okay, so we're doing this week's market snapshot. As you can see, I don't have Kelly with me today. I'm going to be flying solo this week and possibly next week. We're going out to Florida next week, so we'll see how that plays out. But we're going to dive into, we're actually going to do a special market snapshot this week. We've got the last 7 days, but then I also have the month over month stats for March of 2025 versus March of 2024. We usually get that information around the 10th or 11th of the month because we want to make sure that all of the data is put in, all the sold data is put in. And just as a reminder, we look at the 7-day statistics so that we can make real-time decisions about what's actually happening in the market like right now. And then we look at the month-over-month stats because those give us more of a bird's eye view about what's trending in the market overall. So both are valuable, but if you're looking to make real-time decisions, then like in a given weekend, you need to look at these statistics in order to strategize how you want to write your offer, or if you're a seller, how you want to price your property and bring it to the market. Okay, so let's get to the graphs. So as always, our black line is going to be our buyer activity. These are the contracts that these are the buyers that went under contract. They are either active under contract or pending in the last 7 days. And you can see that a week ago we had a significant drop, but then we picked right back up. So good increase in buyer activity over the last 7 days. And then you can see the inventory is continuing to increase. So inventory is significantly higher this year than it was last year, which is really, really good because we really need more inventory in this market. These numbers accelerated at a pretty identical rate. So this gap here is the same as it was last week. So as far as our strength of the seller's market, we remained flat. So we are still in a seller's market, but it's a little lower tone than what it was in March and April of last year. So what we will do is if you're a buyer, it's a good time to get out there because you're not having a whole lot of extra buyers out there competing against you. Buyers do have choices. The buyer activity is increasing, but the buyers do have choices right now because the inventory is going up as well. So be prepared to write and compete against multiple offers, but you have some more options to look at. So hopefully you won't be competing against so many offers. As far as sellers are concerned, you have to keep in mind that because inventory is going up, you have to be priced appropriately. You are competing against other properties, so you need to present your property in the best light possible. If you do that, you will get top market value. You'll probably get multiple offers. And if you use our sign and settle agreement, then you can possibly get the exact offer that you're looking for. So good time in the market. It's a little bit more of a neutral market. So it's a more fair market at this point. So if you are looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate, or know somebody who is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, and you need some help with your strategy or your plan, feel free to reach out to us at 703-783-2143. Okay, if you have any questions, please let us know. We'll see you on next week's Market Snapshot. Okay, so now it's time for us to go into the month-over-month report. And again, month-over-month gives us a bird's eye view about what's going on in the market. We can see a little bit better about what the trends are of the market versus what's happening right now in the minutia. So let's look at what happened in March of 2025 versus March of 2024. Now keep in mind, this is all based on sold data. So this data is at least 40 days old, possibly up to 60 or 70 days old, just because of a transactional time. So for example, today is April 11th. I pulled this data for today. For the closings that happened on or before March 31st, so between March 1st and March 31st. So let's say a closing happened on March 1st. That property probably went under contract February 1st. So that is about 70 days that we're looking at. So this is for trends. This is not for decision making today and right now. All right, so first thing we want to look at is number of new listings. March of 2025, we had 1,614 versus March of 2024, we had 1,461. So it was a 10% increase, 9.5% increase in inventory this year, a number of new listings this year over last year, which is good. We need to see that because we need to see some inventory coming on the market. Number of sales was flat. It was the exact same. So that shows us there's a little bit of that stagnation. And if you watch the weekly market reports, you'll see that we're not in as strong of a seller's market as we were last year. I do believe that this is happening right now, just because of hesitancy in the market with the tariffs, with the Doge activities, with the things like that. I feel like there's a lot of like stagnancy in the market. A lot of people are just kind of pausing to see what they're going to end up doing. We do have a lot of buyer demand. There's more demand than there is inventory, but I think that we're seeing that pull back a little bit just because of the uncertainty at this point, which means that for buyers, this is a good opportunity to not have to compete as heavily. Days on market for March, these are the average days that it took for a property to go under contract. March of 2024 or 2025 was 18 days on market. 2024 was 17 days, so it lasted a day longer. Not a big difference there. Months of inventory is flat. Okay, it's 3 months in March 2025, 3 months March 2024. I got those backwards when I was doing the cursor. The reason months of inventory is important, this is what's called our absorption rate. So our absorption rate is if we took all the listings that are on the market right now and the pace of properties selling stayed the same as it was today, how long would it take for us to completely run out of inventory? And that time right now is 3 months. This absorption rate tells us if we're in a buyer's market or a seller's market. 5 to 6 months is considered a neutral market. Anything below that 5 to 6 months range is considered a seller's market because we only have limited inventory. Anything above that 6 months mark is considered a buyer's market. We are still in a seller's market. Median house price in March of 2024, it was at $750,000. March of 2026, it was at $760,000, so 1.4% increase. So a little bit of a slowdown on the increase in the median sales price, and a little bit of an increase in inventory with the flattening out of buyer activity. So we're seeing the market start to calm a little bit. Little bit of information just so that everybody doesn't get worried or excited thinking that a market crash is about to come and make some irrational decisions. The median sales price, I've gone over this numerous times on other videos, but I think it's important to kind of hit here as well. The median sales price is very, very valuable in that it gives us the idea about what home prices are doing when you have a large sampling over a given period of time. But in a month-to-month basis, it's not super accurate. Because it's only telling us where a certain value fell in that month. So for example, in this example, example number one, we have 9 properties. So 4 sold 1.5 up to 3 million. Then we had the middle one sold at 500,000. Then we had 4 that sold from 350 to 220. So this median number, this middle number, would be the median sales price for month one. So that's $500,000. Because it's the number that fell right in the middle. It's not the average, and they don't use average because they don't want high or low numbers to skew it. They use the number that was right in the middle. Month number 2, we had these top 4 property values that sold were obviously very much higher than this one. And the top 4 or the bottom 4 that sold were obviously very much lower than this one. But the number that fell right in the middle was $400,000, which was about 20% lower than the $500,000. So if you compare month one to month 2, you have a 20% decline in median home values. And so in the media and the way that you might look at this is you might start thinking, oh my gosh, prices are coming down, they've dropped 20%. I can get that $500,000 property for $400,000 now. And that's not what these mean. And it also doesn't mean, if this has gone reverse, that a $400,000 property just went up 20%. All it means is that's where that number fell. So when we come back to this graphic here, you'll see that the median sales price, it's only up 1.4%, but that doesn't mean that the home values only went up 1.4%. It's just that's where the middle sales price fell. Okay, and the reason I'm hitting this point kind of hard is because we're seeing homes that are selling. We're seeing homes that are selling for $100,000, $200,000 over market value in ones that are priced appropriately and are in great condition. So house prices are not starting to flatten out. I hope that makes sense. So basically the trend right now is we are seeing an increase in inventory. We're seeing a little bit of a cooling as far as the seller's market strength is concerned, and that's a good thing. It's good for buyers. It's good for a healthy market. But the market itself is still very, very strong. There's still a lot of activity going on. If you have any questions or you want to look at your condition or your situation individually, please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach us at 703-783-2143, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. All right, have a great weekend, a great month, and we will see you guys on our next video.